Hello everyone, my name is Ray, and today I'd like to introduce or reintroduce a gardening segment. In today's episode is going to be talking about crop blockers. For anyone who doesn't know, something that would block your crops would be obstacles of any sort. For an example, improper lighting, maybe not be planting around the right structures to help your plants to grow. But mainly, the main thing, as in the case of many of our people, stone. Stone has been stone hearts. Stone beneath the surface has been kind of crop blocking. So, in the area where I'm at, San Antonio, and the reason I want to talk about this today is because we just recently had a severe freeze, which brought an amazing amount of snow, which also thawed recently, which made the ground a lot more easy to dig in. So the primary reason I wanted to make this video is to talk about digging at least far enough to give your plants a fighting chance, but also being aware of the timing of everything. Now, I realize this isn't going to be aired until sometime after the fact, but for some areas that's going to be perfect. So for other areas, well, you'll have to tune in a little bit sooner and pay attention to what the environment's telling you. So that's another crop blocker, is not paying attention to the seasons and maybe what the animals themselves are saying, or plants. So in this particular case, I'd like to start out telling you, whenever I dig holes for tomatoes, I dig about the depth of this little trowel, and on particularly good digging days, I'll use this full stone extraction tool to complete my work. Watch, check it out. I'm not sure how much of that you could see, but basically both of these tools fit completely into this hole that I've dug, which is kind of an unusual shape, but it's growing between two posts on some trellises that we built here. And sorry for all the shakiness of the video. I'm holding it with one hand, talking and digging and telling you tips that are after the fact, but it's because I'm trying to combine efforts. What I'm doing is not just to share for entertainment value. This is absolutely worth survival level training if you are packing your bug out bags, filling your water caches or whatever. But basically, whenever we plant tomato plants, what I do is try to make sure that I've dug down more than about 6 inches, which here in my particular environment is the magic level where you get past the soil and down to a very rocky level with big rocks like what I just showed you. You know, this is a big rock. These are big crop blockers. And see, I'm doing the work myself. A lot of people won't do it and they won't understand how much more pleasant it is to start working when it makes sense, actually. That's why I'm digging this super deep hole right after the thaw, after the ground kind of firmed up enough to not have me completely destroy it by sitting on it. And my dog and I are out here right now digging one of 2 holes to plant our plants into. And I've removed all the crop blockers, and I do plan to post a follow-up for as long as these communication channels persist, so that you can see our progress. In the meanwhile, the plants that I have are tomato plants of a variety of sources that are kind of like vines, which succeeded on this trellis before. And these vines are inside on a couple of arrow gardens, which I invested in a couple of seasons back and have been using successfully since then. It just so happens that I kept some tomato plants in the house longer than anticipated because of this freeze. So they're quite tall, and they're going to provide some challenges to get out of the contraption and put into their natural element. But I removed all their crop blockers, and I hope that you enjoy the way that I'm wording these things. I do tend to find humor in a lot of sarcasm. It just helps me smile. Some people are a little bit more stone-hearted, but here's to proper planting and sowing to help remove those stones in our hearts and also in the ground. And one other tip, just before I started digging, I know this sounds probably foreign to a lot of people, but I prayed over the ground. And I know anyone can choose their own mantras of peace. Whatever brings you happiness is what's going to bring your environment happiness. And so I prayed over the ground, started digging, and I found that I had an exceedingly easy time when I was digging through these. I say these, I'm almost telling it like I just did it in the future, like I'm digging these holes without any effort whatsoever, because as with many times, just by the sheer effort of it, my timing has been pretty precise. I think all of us, as we start to take our own actions into our hands and realize that the foods that we consume globally are fleeting resources at times, maybe we will take things into our own hands more and more often, paying attention to what it is we're taking into our hands, realizing whether we're bringing ourselves and other people joy, and maybe we'll go from there. In the meantime, I will see you when I see you on the trails or otherwise. And thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Again, this is episode reintroduction 1 of gardening, and today's feature was crop blockers. Have a great day. Peace.